The flooding in the South Australian Murray has certainly had a major impact on their communities, and the State Recovery Coordinator is Alex Zimmermann. Alex, thanks for joining us today.
Not a problem, Ricky.
Just explain a bit about your role, first of all. Like, when were you appointed to this role, and what is it majorly involving at the moment?
Well, I was appointed on the 22nd of November, and it was sometimes unusual to see an appointment of a recovery coordinator so early before we experienced the peaks, but it's been absolutely invaluable because I've been able to get around and see communities and understand what they look like and, the preventative measures in advance of the height of the flooding. And now we're working with them, and obviously my role is to coordinate all of the services, all of the agencies, both government, local government and non-government organisations that are out there to assist them.
Yeah, and that's assistance, I guess, to get things cleaned up and get back to life as normal as it could be, but there has been some significant damage indeed for shack owners, householders, but also for councils as well.
Oh, certainly, and those public areas that most people have had an opportunity to enjoy over our lifetimes. A lot of people go to the river; they absolutely love the river, and there's a lot of amenity now that's been impacted. Obviously, covered in mud and silt and some other damages because of the high river flows. So all of those things are included, and obviously. My absolute critical focus is on those people whose homes have been either impacted or even some unfortunately destroyed, and we've got them as our number one priority. But as you pointed out, there are thousands of shacks and other areas that have been impacted, and they're all within the purview of my responsibility.
Yeah, I was one of our main presenters here on Flow FM. Wayne was down at the Morgan Hotel earlier in the week. He described it as being like Heartbreak Hotel. People are pretty down in the dumps there because their shacks have been pretty badly destroyed. What's going to happen in that Mid-Murray Council area? The council's already saying they're well short of the money they need to actually get things fixed up.
Well, at the moment, we're all doing our level best within the resources that we've got, and I know that obviously the government has, at both the federal and the state level, have committed, I think it's $194 million so far to the recovery, and I know that the government has been really responsive in addressing unmet needs and understanding that, and we saw that with a recent announcement of close to or just over $5 million to cash injection to try to get the tourism back. There is a lot of work to be done, and I know that the Mid-Murray Council is obviously, because of its size, it's a relatively small council, but there's a huge amount of impact in that area, and that notwithstanding that, they are doing a fantastic job, and I'm working very closely with them to do our level best to get roads back into action and getting the septic systems and the toilet facilities and all of those things.
Yeah, they did outline in a recent press release a whole amount of work they've still got to do for a small base in terms of their operational base with staffing. But when it comes to funding that they might need, they say their budget's well short of what they need to spend. Do you have a role there in advocating for that funding? How does it get decided when a state or federal government might be called in to help with the money?
That'd be the subject for them to put together a proposal and present it to government, and I'm sure that as part of that process, the government will be talking to me as well, because obviously I've been appointed as a recovery coordinator, and certainly I've seen the press release, and there is a lot of work ahead of us. It's costly work, and I don't think anybody's unaware of that, and that'd be subject to the Mid-Murray Council putting forward that submission.
And I noticed that the caravan park's going to be closed possibly until at least Easter, which would have been a good time to get visitors coming to the town. They're talking about possibly even staging some sort of fundraising event or something like that. Is that the kind of thing you get involved in?
Yes, look, I'd certainly be involved in the event, either as potentially a presenter to talk to people there, or obviously utilising my communication channels that we've established to promote it. Yes, the Mid-Murray area, particularly in the caravan parks, has been hit really hard, and those caravan parks are going to be a fair while before they're actually fully functional again.
And just lastly, Alex, you're the coordinator. I know that you're getting a lot of phone calls. What is the best way for people to reach out if they are needing help in their flood recovery?
Look, we still have the recovery hotline. That's the 1-800-302-787 number. And there's a website, that's recovery.sa.gov.au, and that hosts a lot of information about grants. As well, we've got recovery centres now established both at Murray Bridge, Mannum, a pop-up one, and Berry. And those details are available on the website. And when all else fails, my phone number's on newsletters and many items that are circulating around, and I have no problem with people contacting me direct.
Well, Alex, thank you so much for your work as we do try and get back up on our feet, and hopefully all of those tourism facilities can be up and running to meet all those visitors we're trying to attract back to the river.
Yeah, we're doing our absolute best to support them, and they're great people, and hopefully people see that in the CBD and make the effort to come out and patronise these areas. They sorely need that help.